Hi, I'm Zaheen Hussein, Millvale Sustainability Coordinator, inviting you to grow your garden at Millvale May Days. Visit our town, catch the great deals at local businesses, win prizes, and collect all kinds of seed to grow your garden for free. Mark your calendar for May 6th and 7th here in Millvale. Follow the Business Association of Millvale on Facebook and Twitter at BAM15209 for more details.
Hey guys, it's Matt Light, winner of the 2014 and 2015 Best Comedian Award by Pittsburgh Magazine. Now it's your chance to come see me perform. April 8th at Dave & Buster's, I'll be at the Comedians for Cancer benefit. I'm actually a cancer survivor. We are actually going to benefit for the Testicular Cancer Foundation. Proceeds will go to them. You can come juggle some balls, play some beer pong, watch some comedy. It's going to be a great night. I'll be there headlining along with me, some of the best comedians in Steel City. Make sure you get your tickets now. Click the link that doesn't exist right now, but it will by the time you read this, and play with your balls.
Hello and welcome to another episode of RiverTalk Extra. We are highlighting the Heavy Metal Monessen bands, which will be performing April 23rd, a Saturday, at the Monessen City Park Amphitheater in Monessen. And I am happy to have across the table from me Brandon Bonner of Shadows of Corvus.
I guess that's correct.
That's you guess?
I guess that's correct.
What am I missing?
You're not missing anything, my man.
Oh, okay.
You're not missing
right.
anything.
All
I'm like,
right.
yeah, I guess that's who I am. I'm
Okay.
just another average Joe.
You're in and out. No. Big band, big festival. This is big time here.
More like a single person backing this whole thing. This whole project is really grown a lot from where it started back like 2 or 3 years ago. But in the end, it's just been me.
I've been. You mean the whole band?
The whole band has just been me. For those of you watching right now, you can kind of see the Death Clock shirt I'm kind of wearing. Wore that for a reason.
Okay.
It's because I take a very Death Clock-esque kind of approach to how I treat this solo project, with Death Clock and the sole mastermind behind the band, Brendan Small, being my primary influence. Most of the time, whenever he's writing music for the shows, for episodes of Metalocalypse or whenever he's writing music for his full-length records, it's just him doing everything. He'll go in and he'll have a drummer, and the drummer will track all of his parts, and then he'll take everything back to his little home studio, which is like a one car garage, treated to be as a studio, and he does everything else from there. He does all the vocal work, he does all his guitar overdubs, he does all his rhythm parts, he does everything all by himself. And so that's kind of the approach that I take with this solo project, the Shadow of Corvus. It's literally just me.
No.
With the exception of my best friend being as the primary screamer of the band,
Okay.
or vocalist if you want to use formal terms. He helped me out. He helped me out on this latest EP that we put out, if you want to call it an EP.
Will he be at Heavy Metal Monessen?
He will not.
He will not.
Unfortunately.
It's all good.
He recently secured a job as the operations manager at the Kovalchik Center at IUP. So, pretty much anything that goes on campus that involves that huge multimedia center, he has to be a part of.
Okay. So
And he was a part of this project with me when both him and I were still students at Clarion University.
Mm.
So it's a little bit harder for us to get together and to write some tunes and to record them. So pretty much the way Shadow of Corvus goes these days is I will go and pretty much pre-pro everything myself. And if I have a song idea, I'll demo it and I'll send it his way. I'd be like, okay, well, we could do this or we could do that. Let me send you some vocal parts over your way. Okay, well, we collaborate through this cloud storage kind of method of the 21st century.
Is that hard to do? Because I imagine if you're not in studio together, that would be hard to kind of figure everything out.
And it's a little hard, but, you know, with this being the 21st century and having outlets like Skype, it's a lot easier for us to collaborate. But I was born in the 90s.
Yes.
I prefer the analog touch. I prefer my client being right next to me.
Oh, yeah.
And working side by side. All of our best sessions have happened that way.
Well, I'm terrible in the fact that I can't even talk on the phone. Like, I couldn't do, like, a long distance thing, like an organization like that, where I'm, you know, trying to put together a song or something, because I can't even talk to somebody on the phone for that long. I'm the type of guy where I would drive 30 miles to have a face-to-face conversation with someone before I spent 30 minutes on the phone.
And that's the way that I would prefer to do things as well,
Yeah.
because I like that personal touch. I like having, you know, people next to me as I'm working on this kind of stuff. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do. If the work needs to get done in a tight space of time, then that's what you got to do. It's funny because out of the blue, he'll call me. Out of the blue, he'll just call me, like, I'll get out of work at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and he's just driving home from work too.
Yeah.
And he'll call me and be like, dude, I was listening to this song. We really need to write a riff like that again. This is super sick. I'm like, okay, yeah, I could try. And the whole phone conversation will be like 45 minutes. Like, have you been writing anything new, Brandon? And I'm like, I'm a college student, Cameron. Get off my back.
Yeah, it's hard, and it's interesting because you're now you moved from Clarion to Cal U, and
yes.
You have a show on WCAL, and you're also the metal director down there.
Yeah,
you took over the reins from Zach Fell as
I did.
Got promoted to station manager.
Yes, seeing how he is graduating this semester, I confronted him about it at the tail end of last semester.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, I know you're graduating in a semester. Want to give up that metal director position?
Yeah.
It'd be kind of cool to talk to all these labels and all these marketing companies, and
really it makes sense because if he's a station manager, you really should have somebody else handling that.
Yeah,
aspect
but
of the station.
he's definitely been taking over the reins of that the most. And if it comes to anybody providing the most content for the radio station as possible, it's got to be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much every interview that's on the WCAL YouTube page, with the exception of one that I just uploaded tonight, has all been him.
Yeah.
I don't know, and this isn't meant to be like a discriminatory statement to any of the other DJs there, but nobody puts in as much work as that guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he loves that station.
Yeah,
and I highly respect him for that.
And the thing I do like about Zach as well, and I could just say this from my time at WCAL, I think he was the program director the one of the years I was in there, and then the second year he wasn't anything because he ran for station manager, and unfortunately he didn't get it that time, but he was very accepting of other people's ideas, and the old regime at WCAL was not that way. If it wasn't their line of thinking, it just wasn't really considered.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah,
from
and that's the nice
sources.
thing about him is he, I think, he puts in the work, but he's also, I think, a little open-minded to other people's ideas and what they want to do as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is definitely the way to go.
This is something that I continuously keep learning in the music industry as I keep continuing my education at Cal U. Diversity is key.
Oh, sure.
The way that I see it as an audio engineer is you never know what kind of client you're going to get the next day.
Yeah.
So you have to be knowledgeable, and I don't want to say everything because that's way too broad of a statement.
Sure.
But you have to be at least a little bit knowledgeable about certain clicks and certain things and genres. Like, oh, okay, well, in EDM, it's pretty much just low end the entire time. That's what people want to hear. Okay, so an EDM artist comes in, hey, I want to collab on something. Okay, cool. Let's try this beat out. Okay, can you mix it for me, man? Yeah, sure. All low end.
Yeah.
Not very much high end. EQ curves starting to look like this, like a straight 90-degree angle kind of thing. It's funny. Then you might have a country artist come in the next day, and they're like, oh, well, I want that high mid kind of sparkle.
Yeah.
That way the banjo sticks out, and Carrie Underwood's super high vocals really stand out. Like, okay, cool. Let's try working around that. You never know what kind of client you're gonna get.
Sure, and it's kind of talk radio, which is my specialty. I do a lot of talk here on my program, RiverTalk. You need to be somewhat of a jack of all trades. I can talk competently about a variety of issues, but maybe I'm not like the expert on, a specific issue, but
Absolutely.
You need to have that variety to make it interesting. So, I can definitely see where you're coming from.
Like, I was really interested to see that you were interviewing some employees from the Monroeville Guitar Center today.
Yes, we had that on. Yeah, they actually just unionized, so that was this past Sunday.
I have a couple friends that work at that one.
Okay. We'll have to talk off air because I'd be interested to know if I know any of them myself.
I'm pretty sure that you do.
I may, yeah.
I'm pretty sure you do.
So, now...
they always hook me up, so shout out to Monroeville Guitar Center.
I know, yeah, we were talking about that on River Talk. Somebody was saying something bad about them. I'm like, what the hell do you have wrong to say about Guitar Center?
They're like the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Like, come on.
Yeah, we got a lot of our equipment from there. They were helpful with helping me decide what I needed, and
they literally take me. They literally take me to town every time I go there.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I have some problems with my pedal board. Mind helping me out? Oh yeah, bring it in. We'll help you.
Yeah.
This is how I'd patch it. This is how I would arrange things. Okay, cool. Thanks for your help.
Yeah. No, it's great. Yeah.
Let me buy you a Twinkie or something.
Right. So the metal director, WCAL.
Yes.
How has that had any impact on your involvement with Heavy Metal Monessen? I know you're going to be involved with some of the audio work, correct?
Yes. Along with opening up, I think I'm one of the opening acts for the side stage.
Yes, the River's Edge stage.
I'm pretty sure I'm one of the opening acts for that, which makes sense because it's just going to be me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of a hybrid thing that I'm hoping people will be a little open-minded about. I'll come up there, I'll have my rig, I'll have backing tracks, I'll play my album, la-di-da-di-da. Definitely keeping the metal director position. I don't want to say... It's definitely piqued my interest in a lot of the bands that are around, especially around the Cal area, because like I mentioned earlier, I'm not from around here.
Yes.
Though I've visited like the Pittsburgh metropolitan area numerous times. I still have a lot of friends down here that I like to catch up with whenever I'm in the area, and hopefully I could do that tonight. But being the metal director there has definitely opened my mind up to a bunch of different of the artists that are on the bill for Heavy Metal Monessen. Like, I knew of Claymore.
Yeah.
Because they played the Battle of the Bands that was held at Steel Hall in Cal. A Battle of the Bands that was held for the Washington Symphony Orchestra.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There were a couple
that's such a weird mix.
I know, right?
Yeah.
There were so many different bands that were in that Battle of the Bands, and I think only like 6 or 7 made it to the finals where they played that venue.
Yeah.
And the winner won $500, and they got their original music to be orchestrated with the 60-piece orchestra. And I'm like, why am I a solo project?
Yeah.
Why can't... Because a lot of my stuff, I'm not sure if you've ever listened to anything. I don't know if you've ever listened to the beginning and the end or not. Mm-hmm. But a lot of my stuff does have orchestral arrangements in them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, ooh, that would just be a match made in heaven.
Yeah, that would be cool.
If Dr. Hugo Iketch, the director of the WSO, would allow me to be part of something like this. He's like, full band. I'm like, you're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah.
You're killing me.
That stinks.
I'm like, that's okay. I'll vote for the best one. Because I'm going to probably be in the orchestral percussion pit for that show.
Nice.
I've been asked to do a bunch of things like that before as well.
That would be cool, yeah.
But, yeah, like, getting back to your original question, I'm sorry I went on a tangent there. But having the metal director position has definitely opened up my mind to a bunch of different artists in the metal realm that I probably wouldn't have never bothered with before.
WCAL was good for that because I didn't have much exposure to the metal genre at all going into WCAL, and all of my friends and a lot of the people who trained me, I don't know if I think the Gorgon was probably gone before you started.
It probably was.
Yes, but
that doesn't even ring a bell.
Yeah, those two, Ray and Ryan, they were twins. They were the ones who trained me, and then also Pat Williams with the Mountain King. He was one of my trainers, another one that probably was gone before you were there. But they were all
None
in
of these names are ringing a bell.
Yes, they were all in that metal genre, and they were all very accepting. You know, I had a talk show. It was something that was not on that network at all. It was a completely different type of show than anyone else had. And it was really the metal community that were all my friends, and they were the ones who were very embracing of the show. I mean, there were other people as well, but just everybody who was a metal DJ was just very, like, you know, cool with what I was
like
doing.
how I was going back earlier, diversity is key.
Yes.
I try to make it my mission anytime that I'm not in classes during the week. I go down to the station, whether somebody's on the air or not, and just try to hang out and be like, hey, what kind of music do you like? If they're a new DJ, although I'm technically not the training director,
yes,
I'll just be like, hey, you doing okay? Do you have any questions? What kind of music are you playing? Oh, well, I like that kind of music. Why don't you play some of this? Why don't you play some of that? Just kind of get to know the DJs. You know what I mean? I don't know of very many metal shows that are on WCAL anymore,
It used to
though.
be all metal. Not all, I mean, I shouldn't say all
There
metal.
was a lot.
There was a lot of metal shows, yes.
I remember stopping down because I've been interviewed by Zach as well for Shadow of Corvus material before. And whenever I was down there for my interview there, there were a lot of metal shows.
Oh, yeah.
There were a lot. And it's kind of a dying breed now, and I'm trying to bring that back as much as I possibly can.
But it was kind of unique in the fact that it existed at all. Because I feel like a lot of stations you wouldn't have that metal presence. A lot of college stations. Actually, some stations, such as WPTS, they're very corporate. Not corporate as far. They're obviously not corporate. They're
mainstream.
I wouldn't say they're mainstream.
Okay.
I would say that they're very specific as what they want on their station.
Okay. Like, what is that? Do you happen to know off the top of your head?
It's got to be kind of... Well, it can't be anything normal. Like for example, some of your DJs will play, you know, some classic rock songs and things like that.
So if I go in there with 25 minutes of Carly Rae Jepsen, I'm going to get frowned upon.
Yes.
Okay.
And they won't even let you... Actually, I got bitched at because we played a song. It was a Johnny Cash song as a break, because I, you know, with my talk show, I'll have music for like little breaks. And I immediately got an email. Oh, you know, that's too mainstream. You know, we can't play anything like that.
They want you to play hipster stuff?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
And the thing is it was it was in their library. We sent them a message back. We said, you know, we played it because it was in your library, and they're like, oh, well, it's okay if it's in the library, but you know, we prefer this or that.
So you're saying if I walked into that station and I had 45 minutes of Walk the Moon and 21 Pilots, they would be standing there applauding?
No, if you had 21 Pilots, they probably wouldn't let you play it because it's too
mainstream.
Yeah. So
hipsters these days, man.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Hipsters.
I mean, it's a good station. I like my time there, but it's you wouldn't be able to get away with a lot of what's done at WCAL because they're much more open to different types of genres and different types of music and things like that. And that's one thing that we've embraced here at the River's Edge, where we have Claymore, which is obviously
Claymore's
a
bunch of cool dudes.
Yeah, but it's obviously, you know, like a metal group, and then we have the Neon Swing Experience, which is a big band group, all on the same station. So it's
big band's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. But we have embraced
that diversity. Wonder how you could fit a big band in a room like this.
Yeah, they were all here. I mean, they didn't play, but they did come in for an interview at one point. No, we didn't have the video. Now it's more challenging with the video. We got to try and all cram in around this table, whereas before, you know, we were able to spread out a little bit more and makes it a little bit easier. But you should come in for, an episode of RiverTalk one day. This is called RiverTalk Extra, where we highlight a specific interview. But
yes,
the full show, there's me, I have a meteorologist, there's a producer, we have guests, sometimes there's a comedian that'll be in studio that day. So sometimes you can get 7 people sitting in this little room.
That would be interesting to see.
Yeah, and people have to like get up. Like Heather will be sitting where you're at, our meteorologist, and she'll have to get up to move out of the way so another guest can come in, and it's all sorts of shuffling around.
Oh, the power of video editing will fix that.
Yes. Oh, we have Brandon Bonner here of Shadow of Corvus. Don't
That's
forget, right. April 8th at Dave & Buster's, we have Comedians for Cancer with Matt Light, cancer survivor, and a bunch of other great local comedians. Definitely get your tickets there at ShowClicks. You can find that information at the end of this video. Tell us a little bit about your recording studio. I know you have your own side business as well.
Yes.
Not only are you a student, not only are you a musician, but you also record as well.
Yes.
So you're
That's
exhausted, eternally exhausted, I'm assuming.
Oh, I'm eternally exhausted.
Yes.
But somehow, in some way, I find a way to just push through all the crap.
Yes.
So, yeah, I actually run my own home studio. It's called Dark Glass Productions. It's very DIY. I'm the only person that's running it.
Mm-hmm.
It's practically a bedroom studio, which is it's becoming very common in the audio industry these days.
Yeah.
Where you'll pretty much have anybody who has like a MacBook Pro or a laptop, a cracked copy of Pro Tools, Easy Drummer, Melodyne, and like Pod Farm or Bias Desktop, and they're calling themselves a studio these days.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I try to offer something that a lot of the other home studios, not trash talking anybody in specific, but it's a trend that I'm noticing. One thing that I try to provide to other home studios that they don't provide is like live drum recording. I try to provide amenities like live guitar tracking, reamping purposes, my own ISO booth for vocal tracking. I do a lot of mixing and mastering services. And that's actually what I'm really trying to focus on whenever I graduate from Cal U with my audio production degree, is becoming a mixing or a mastering engineer, which is, contrary to popular belief, as much of a science as it is an art.
Uh-huh.
Because opinions can be incredibly subjective.
Sure.
Everybody has their own thoughts about how a mix sounds. Everybody has their own thoughts about how a master sounds. One person will be like, "Oh, well, I can't hear the kick in the drums. It's way too drowned out." And the other person will listen to it and be like, "Oh my God, that kick sounds awful." This is where you would insert that Bernie Sanders sitting at a laptop. You got to when you got to fix your country, but you got to fix your snare first.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I love production memes like that.
Yeah.
It's funny because like a lot of the audio plugins and stuff that I have at my own studio, a lot of others don't have unless they've cracked them themselves. And I try to stay up to date and most current with a bunch of different DAWs, a bunch of different amp modeling software, a bunch of different microphone selections. But you have to understand, I'm trying to provide as much of a professional product as possible in a home studio environment. So like a lot of the commercials that are made for WCAL, a lot of the drops that are made for there.
Did you do the Heavy Metal Monessen
Yes,
drop?
I did.
Yeah, okay. We got that playing on our network. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep, I made that.
Very cool.
Made a Dark Glass,
So you do that at
shameless
home.
self-promo.
Okay.
Yes, I do that at home. I try to keep up to date with all the latest software as my pocketbook will allow me. Because, again, I'm a senior in college. I don't have all the money in the world to be devoting to all of it.
Okay, so you're a senior, so you'll be... is this your last year then?
Looking
now?
to graduate in December.
Oh, okay.
Seeing how I was a transfer student from Clarion University, not everything transferred over.
Sure.
There were certain classes at Cal that I had to take that Clarion didn't offer. La-di-la-di-da.
Yeah.
So there's that hurdle to jump over.
Yeah, that's a pain in the butt. I know from transferring back from school to school and things like that. That's huge pain. And even if you wait too long, like I'm the world's most non-traditional student, so even when you wait, things will change, and then you've got to adjust.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I can understand. But yeah, I offer a lot of mixing and mastering services, so if you're interested, give me a ring. I'm always looking for work, even though I am a student.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm working to put myself through college. I'm always looking for work.
Now, how is that going to benefit your recording studio with Heavy Metal Monessen? How are you going to be able to translate what you do there or what you learn there to the actual stage? Because I know you, obviously it's been beneficial within creating the promo in and of itself, but what will that add to you for the actual...
My entire album was recorded in my bedroom.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I did everything myself, with the exception of my good buddy Cameron, who is the operations manager at the Kowalczyk Center at IUP. He did some vocal parts.
Okay.
And that was because I tried doing them myself, and I'm like, I hate this.
Yeah.
I'm not a screamer. I don't want to be a screamer. I'm way too classically trained of a vocalist to be doing this.
Sure, yeah.
Give it to somebody else that is a little bit more experienced at this than I am. But yeah, my entire album, Shadow of Corvus is the Beginning of the End, was recorded in my bedroom. Mixed it all myself, mastered it all myself, between different apartment complexes, and going back home and moving all my gear back there and moving back to school.
Is it challenging to find a space where it's going to be acoustically sound for recording?
The place that I have right now is absolutely not.
Not good, or
It's not good.
Oh, okay.
It's not good at all. The place that I had before was actually in an attic.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very well insulated. And
I wonder why attics are good for that, because when we started, the studio was originally in a closet in an attic, and it was like the only room in the house that had acoustics that worked for a studio.
yeah, I noticed, and of course with me being an audio production student at Cal, I had the luxury of going down to the recording studio there, going into that control room, and
That's awful.
reference checking my mixes and checking them in the car and checking them on my iPod and stuff like that. But the place that I'm in right now, it's not very well treated.
Okay.
The walls are literally paper thin.
Yeah.
I try my best, even like with some of the interviews that I have like online via Skype or something. I have like a little shotgun mic over my head.
Yeah.
Gain usually cranked like halfway, 3/4 of the way. And even then I could still, with a super cardioid pattern pickup microphone like that, I could still hear the room.
Yeah.
Like, damn it, that sucks.
Yeah, it's weird. This room is surprisingly good because this is actually an outside wall here. I believe this is an outside wall as well. So you would think there would be more outside noise coming in, but it does a good job of keeping that out.
This is a pretty decent space, I
Yeah.
must admit. And that's just me listening through this microphone.
Yeah, right.
That's just, I mean, I wasn't paying attention when I came in here.
Sure, yeah. But I mean, it's weird. You would think this would be not very good, but it is. So,
Well, attics are usually pretty well insulated.
well, this is, yeah, obviously we're not in an attic now, but yeah. No,
that would be awful.
Yeah. Well, the attic we were in, it was terrible. I almost passed out once because the temperature change was so drastic. And it does get hot in here, but nothing nearly as
I remember
awful as
when I
that.
first moved in and started my first semester at Cal and I was in that attic. I had the landlord's air conditioner going at full blast, and it still wasn't cooling it down.
Yeah, the problem with us is because we have equipment in here. So they do have air in this building. The air conditioning's out there. In the
Doesn't
room
matter.
out there. Well, it does matter because it doesn't come into here. Because we have to
I'm
keep the
pretty
door locked.
comfortable right now.
You're comfortable now because it's April and it was 30 degrees. We actually had the heat on a little bit, but in the summer in this room, it can be dreadful.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, so we're looking at coming up with maybe some alternatives. I used to come in here and open the door like a few hours beforehand, turn on the air, and then leave. And then I would come back to studio and it would be, a decent temperature, but it was still, you would shut the door and after 30 minutes, the second half of a show, because most of our shows are an hour, my show was 2 hours, and then you had like 10 people in here sometimes.
Oh, yeah,
And,
that just adds even more problems. That's awful.
Yeah, this is better though. Yeah, and it's nice because we can have people come in. And WCAL, you kind of have almost the same disadvantage that I had in the old studio, whereas it's almost hard to find WCAL inside Natali.
Oh, it's very...
Student Center. It's not...
It's funny, when I first moved down here, I'm like, where the heck's the radio station at? I thought it was in the communications department building. They're like, no, it's in the student center. I'm like, that makes no sense.
Well, actually, that's actually... It's done other places. WPTS is in their student union.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it's in Pitt Student Union.
Clarion's was in their communications department building,
Okay.
along with their TV studio. So maybe that's why it was
That
a
might
little
be, yeah,
unfamiliar
because
to
Point
me.
Park is, I don't know if that's technically considered a student center, but there's definitely like a cafeteria on the same floor as where they are at WPG. I can't think of the call letters offhand. WPPJ.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Point Park's. But yeah, and their studio is really different. I don't like the way they're laid out. It's a nice area, but everything's against the wall. So it's a desk against the wall. It's not set up for a talk radio where we can have that table where you can sit across from somebody.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like if we were at WPPJ, we would both be sitting next to each other,
this,
staring at the wall. Yeah.
Like, hey, what's going on?
Exactly. Yes. So, but it's a nice place though. I got to go down there and check it out. So, but very cool. So I'm excited for Heavy Metal Monessen.
I am
Monessen
too.
3, Saturday, April 23rd. What are you looking forward to most besides playing and besides running the sound?
I'm definitely looking forward to Cabaret Runaway.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually really good friends with the vocalist, Andrew Dinger. And he
Yeah.
was actually a music major whenever I started down there.
Okay,
He
nice.
graduated the first semester I started down there, so I didn't get to really connect with him all that much. But
Yeah, he's a good guy. The
Yeah,
whole group is good.
he's
Yeah.
a super cool guy.
Yeah.
Went to his senior recital, and it was pretty much just a Cabaret Runaway show in secret.
That's cool. Nice.
It was cool. It was super cool.
Hey, if you could do that, if you could use
That's essentially
what's
what I'm doing a senior recital this semester.
Yeah.
And it's essentially going to be a Shadow of Corvus show in secret, where I'll be playing the beginning of the end in its entirety, as well as five to eight other songs that I believe have helped shape me, have helped me shaped, or wow.
Help shape
Speak
you as an
English.
artist.
Precisely. Speak English, Brandon. I say that all the time. It's helped shape me as an artist, and has definitely allowed me to lock in on what my influences are, how I want to go about writing my music, what direction I want to take, what kind of tones I want to kind of get, stuff like that.
Makes sense. Yeah, that's gonna be exciting. It's a good way to do things, because as somebody who is in a band, works at the station, has his own recording studio, taking classes, you need to kind of combine things to make things work.
And it's cool about this recital, while I'm only going to be playing solo with some backing tracks at Heavy Metal Monessen, which, again, I hope people are open to the idea of that. This is
At the River's Edge stage, you got to check it out. So.
It's
good stuff.
It's 2016. Cut me some slack. My recital is actually exactly 1 week after Heavy Metal Monessen.
Okay.
And it may be one of the only times that you see a full 6-piece band playing the beginning of the end in its entirety.
Nice.
I may have a drummer for Heavy Metal Monessen.
Okay.
I'm trying my best to convince the drummer that I'm with that is helping me with my recital. He's supposed to be doing a gig with me tomorrow, so that's good news. But I'm trying to see if I can hone him in to be like, hey, I want to play drums for this. It's kind of a warm-up gig before the really, really big one.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah, that would get you some practice in. That would be...
Oh, yeah, we've been practicing for about a good month or so.
But it's different practicing.
It's practicing
in the studio versus practicing
with live musicians.
Yeah. Or a live audience. Yeah.
It's a lot different.
Oh, sure.
And tomorrow is going to be the true test of that. Because I literally called him up on my way over here tonight and be like, hey, I got this gig I got to do at 11 a.m. tomorrow. Do you want to... I'm thinking about doing the beginning of the end, the self-titled track of my album, which is completely instrumental. I asked him, would you want to play drums on it? Kind of consider it like a warm-up thing.
Yeah.
Get us used to playing in front of a crowd. Yeah, sure, I could do it. So sweet.
Yeah, we just had a Solar Burn on, and we were talking about the instrumental
another band.
approach.
That's another band I'm excited for.
Yeah, do you think do you get a lot of traction from that song? Because that's we were talking with Solar Burn about that. People, for some reason, I think it's a lack of musical intelligence
From which one?
People not wanting to listen to instrumental music anymore.
It's almost become entirely segregated from popular culture.
Yes.
It's way too common to find the metal bands and even the punk bands these days, like pop punk and the 1990s punk, where you see all these bands like making like 1:30, 2-minute songs and just making just numerous ones of that.
Yes.
Very popular in the punk realm. Or you'll have your basic 3.5, 4-minute metal song. You know, it gets the point across. It's got a few memorable riffs, and then it moves on to the next one. But then you have prog metal bands. Then you have thrash metal bands that make these genius 7 to 15-minute songs. complex chord changes, numerous sequences that are very, very well thought out. And that's not as welcomed because it requires way too much thought.
Yes, people just want to zone and not put any thought into it, which is frustrating. You know, people need to get outside of their shell.
In the words of Stevie T, a very famous U2 musician, I know I'm crashing on pop punk right now, all in good sarcasm. If I didn't have friends or a hometown, what would I have to sing about?
Yeah. All right, so are you on Twitter? Are you on Facebook?
Yes, Shadow of Corvus is on Facebook. If you go to, I'm going to actually bring the page up here myself. If you go to facebook.com/Shadow of Corvus, you should be able to find us, or at least me, I guess. Cameron is kind of a on and off member, seeing how he's so busy with being the operations manager. So Shadow of Corvus is literally just me these days. Released the album myself, mixed it, mastered it all myself. It's literally just me. But of course, you know, having a second pair of ears and for reference purposes is really nice.
Sure.
Someone that could really bring in new creative kind of content. But I will say this, after Heavy Metal Monessen and after the recital and everything, and I have some downtime, new music is in the works.
There we go. Good
new
stuff.
Music is in the works. I do have a couple riffs that I've been working around, but I haven't had a lot of time to really like lay down some rhythm guitar parts and lay down some other harmonies, because like I mentioned before, I'm very, very influenced by Death Clock. And I don't know if you've ever listened to Death Clock's music before, but Brendan Small is a genius on layering his lead guitar parts, because he technically classifies the band as a melodic death metal band. So you have the very, very aggressive, very brooding kind of style that death metal's known for, but he still loves his melody, with his influences being from like Brian May and Steve Vai and Joe Satriani, who I'm actually going to see next Tuesday, and I'm really excited for that.
Nice.
Satriani has always been a really big guitarist that I've really liked as a child. Brian May, Steve Vai, Joe Satriani. I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. Wow. Okay, it might come to me later. But you know, he's grown up listening to a lot of different guitarists that are born with melody, and that all of their music, all their guitar lines that they write, just screams with melody. He wanted to incorporate that. So his way of layering his lead guitar lines is that he'll have them pan differently, like via left and right. He'll make triadic harmonies out. He'll make entire chords over a rhythm guitar part. And you throw in the bass and you throw in Gene Hoglan's ridiculous death metal drums over top of it. And that's just pure magic. Because he doesn't sing any melodies. He does more like a kind of grunt like this. Yeah. So in order to get all of his melodies inside of his music, he throws them in his lead guitar lines, and it's just magical to listen to. And I try to incorporate that as much as I can into my music, because I personally also am a fan of melody. Yes. And I grew up listening to a lot of music that had a lot of melody into it. I know this may not be very metal of me to say, but the early childhood Brandon was listening to nothing but Alanis Morissette, Motley Crue, Shania Twain. And it wasn't until like the high school years that I really started to dig deep into the metal range, like bands like Killswitch Engage, and Disturbed was a really big one when I was in high school. Machine Head's another really big one. I take a lot of influence vocal-wise from Matt Heafy of Trivium, especially these days, where they're definitely getting a lot more melodic and straying more and more away from the metalcore formula. That's my spiel.
Very cool. So check him out. That's Brandon Bonner of Shadow of Corvus, WCAL, all over the place. I'm literally got your hands and everything. So
I'm trying my best.
It's going to be a Heavy Metal Monessen, Saturday, April 23rd at the Monessen City Park Amphitheater. He'll be playing at the River's Edge stage, so absolutely check him out. Good times there. Don't forget, what is today? Today's Friday. Don't forget, Sunday, we have RiverTalk. We have Only Flesh. They're going to be in studio here on River Talk. That's going to be Monday, 6 to 8 a.m.
They literally just had an interview with Zach
yeah.
over at WCAL. So if you missed it and you're too lazy to go on YouTube and watch it, you can catch it here.
Exactly, right here. And Pittsburgh's only voice for local music, streaming 24 hours a day at riversedgepgh.com, the River's Edge Radio Network.